Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to drive up to East Midlands Airport, which is near to Nottingham in the UK, and it is going to be nice to see what it's like driving the Polestar there and back tomorrow after I finish the training course that I need to go to. I'm leaving today with 56%, so this is also going to be a nice chance to basically show you what it's like driving the Polestar when you start off with a lower battery percentage, because I'm having some work done on my house, which means I wasn't able to park and charge up properly last night. I went to a rapid charger a couple of days ago, the usual BP Pulse that I often go to, and charged up to 70%. I've been driving around a little bit, so I'm leaving with 56%, and on the screen it's showing 140 mile range, which the truth is that's not really that realistic. 56% I reckon is going to get more like 110 miles. That's what I use as a 2x factor on the percentage. So 110 miles is kind of a safer number to look at. So let's have a look at the screen and see what Google Maps is saying for the drive today. Okay, so having a look at the screen, let's tap on that, and I've already put the Hilton East Midlands into the screen, and it's 2 hours and 45 minutes it says from here, and it is showing 0% obviously on arrival, 165 miles total. So 56% is definitely not going to get me there without stopping. If I had 100% of battery, I'd be able to get there without stopping. That'd be absolutely fine, and I could charge up there if there was a charger overnight, or go to a rapid charger. But I'm starting with less. Now if I click add charging stop, it's giving me a couple of options there, and I could go for these ones here, this little cluster of chargers that it's suggesting, but I actually don't want to do that because it is 11:30 and I am really hungry. So I'm going to stop at if I type in Cobham Services Extra, and I will hit start. That's 40 minutes, 34 miles. I'll get there with 39%. Now let's have a look in a better route planner, because that's always interesting to see how that compares. One problem I have with a better route planner is it is a bit slow to load sometimes. It's not fast and snappy like Google Maps is. So I've already got this in here from yesterday. So it's got my position, and if I change this, yeah, 56%, there we go. So let's run the route calculation, and there we go. So it's actually saying to stop at Cobham. That's quite clever. It's saying stop at Cobham Ionity. Now there's also an Ecotricity charger there, so there's a choice of two, which is why I like that location. I could just go to the Ecotricity. It's much cheaper. I don't really need to charge quickly, so I'll probably do that, or I can use one of the Ionity chargers. Milton Keynes Ionity again, I could stop at. So it's saying 38 minutes there, then up to 51%, then get up to 50%, and then 10% there. But that for me isn't the most logical. I don't really want to waste money. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go there. I'm going to use Ecotricity, and then I'm going to see what charge I get to, because the main priority for me is actually to get some lunch. So you can see on the Polestar there's a couple of really good ways of planning that route. A better route planner gives you some options. Google Maps gives you different ones. Now you can reject certain chargers on a better route planner. I don't really want to use Ionity because it's very expensive. It makes a lot more sense to use more affordable chargers. And for me, the actual priority right now is getting something to eat. So say for example it takes me 30 minutes to go in, get food, come back out. There's not much point charging on a very fast charger. I just want to get as much charge as I possibly can from that charging cycle, and then I'll probably head off. Or what actually might work better is to just stay there and charge up as much as possible and try and get all the way to the destination. But I'll evolve that plan as I go along, because right now I just need to get something to eat. So let's head off.
Through the fade
Okay, so I have arrived at Cobham Services, and I'm charging here on this Ecotricity charger behind me. And yeah, this is the classic thing that happens when you stop at Ecotricity chargers. There's 3 of them here, and one of them just doesn't work. The screen is blank; it's not even powered up at all. And the frustrating thing is, the one that does work, it doesn't have a CCS plug. So some of these chargers have been here a long time. They're quite old. This one doesn't have a CCS plug, but what I have plugged into is the AC plug, which is going to give an 11 kilowatt charge on the Polestar. So actually, let's look at a better route plan. I'll show you what it shows. On a better route planner here, you can see it's showing 10.2 kilowatts, and on the display, the driver's display here, it is showing 28 miles per hour, which is what you would expect from that. So I mean, that's not a fast charge, but I'm only going to be here probably for 20 minutes, so I thought I might as well charge using this. Consumption was actually really good, 32.8 driving here, so no preheating, 10 to 12 degrees temperature outside, so getting some nice, decent consumption figures. So yeah, why didn't I use the Ionity charger? I drove past it, and there's a couple of cars charging there. It's expensive. 61 pence per kilowatt hour is actually what you pay if you use the Shell app. I think it's slightly more if you use the Ionity one, which is weird. It's like 69 pence or something like that, but it's very expensive. So the cars that are using it, I think it was an Audi and a Mercedes. If you are part of the group of cars that benefits from the Ionity network, then you get much better rates. But if you're not, then you pay a really high price. Now, I don't mean this to be particularly negative. If you need to use Ionity and you want the fastest charge possible, then by all means, it's still worth using it. I mean, at 61 pence, divide that by 3 miles per kilowatt, it's 20 pence per mile. Yes, that's more than petrol and diesel, but on average, if you're out and you need to charge, you need to get going, I wouldn't hesitate to use it, because it's just sometimes it's a waste of time trying to save money. But here I am on the Ecotricity charger, trying to save myself a little bit of money, but there's a reason why, and I'll show you here on Google Maps. So on Google Maps, I have navigated to where I actually plan to stop to charge a bit more, was a Milton Keynes coachway. There is a big bank of BP chargers there and Ionity, and I will show you that because I wanted to show that in the video. I think this is one of the best setups I've seen. But look, it's showing 10% on arrival there. So probably what I'll do is I'll just stay here for 20 minutes, charge up, get a little bit more in the battery, and then I'll head off to that particular charger, and I might charge up for a little bit longer there before I head off to get to the final destination. Okay, so I've been charging up for a while now, and it's time to go. Something that I was very mindful of, actually, that plugging into this charger using the AC charger, is that some cars can take advantage of the full power that's on offer there. So like a Renault Zoe, for example. So I was, it's frustrating, I think, for a lot of EV drivers when they find one of these rapid chargers blocked up by someone that parks there for 2 or 3 hours. That's really annoying. So I've plugged in here for half an hour, which I feel like it's kind of the respectable amount of time to be connected to a charger, even if you are only charging 11 kilowatts on an AC charger. Because what if someone else pulls up that has to use that, like a Renault Zoe driver? So I think what I really would like to see more penalties on these chargers for people who overstay, because I have read so many things on Facebook groups and all across the internet of people who found chargers blocked for hours, or someone that decides to just leave their car. For example, a Morrison's where you get the Genie Point chargers, someone could technically leave their car connected for a long time. Yeah, some of them might have penalties, but I think some people just don't really care, and that's kind of annoying because that can be a really inconvenient thing for other drivers. So yeah, I've done about 30 minutes, and all I got was about, I don't know, something like 10%, so not a lot, but it's enough to help me out a little bit.
Pull you into the water till we come out clean. Things left in the dark are not what they seem. Hush, now the dawn may be listening.
Okay, so I'm parked up here at BP at the Milton Keynes coachway. It's like a bus terminal, I guess, a big sort of bus interchange thing with some new build houses on the other side. But it's a really nice setup. So yeah, have a look at these shots and you can see outside what it looks like. There's a whole load of BP Pulse chargers. And Milton Keynes, that is where BP Pulse is. Like if you have a look on Zap Map, there are so many rapid chargers here in Milton Keynes, and it is a good example of Milton Keynes is an unusual place, right? It's a good example of sort of a forward-thinking, modern, newly designed city, which means it's got tons of charging facilities. It's got loads of new builds. It's got an interesting route layout that's very different to other cities. But the thing that I really do like about it, if you live in Milton Keynes or around here, wow, you have so many charging facilities available to you. But this particular location is good because it's just off the motorway. It's not a big detour, and there are lots of chargers. There's a whole Ionity setup here as well. So if you are part of the Ionity network, or you want to use a fast charger, a really fast one, then those are available. But this mainly everyone here seems to be using the BP chargers because they're cheaper, and if you've got a membership, then it's a no-brainer really. There's so many of them. A great place to stop. And just looking at consumption driving here now, we have stabilized at 30.2 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and based on, if I use 75 kilowatt hours as the usable battery, which I've been using 72.5, but to be fair to the car, I think I'm going to start using 75 now. I was trying to be a bit pessimistic, but at that consumption, that's a range of 248 miles. So that's really impressive. Temperature today is 12 degrees. It's not that hot, like it's not that warm, and I left with a fairly cold battery at sort of 8-9 degrees, but it's really nice to see that. Yeah, we'll see what it's like over the whole drive. 248 mile range is looking really, really good. So once I've charged up here for a while, I'll be able to head off, and yeah, then we'll see what it's like for the last little leg of this drive. Now, so I was just thinking about how you know, if you're not really sure where you're going, or you're in a new environment, you're not that particularly familiar with the route, is how best to plan this. Because I'm thinking tomorrow I need to go to work. I need to be there at 8, and I think I finish at like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then I'm going to drive straight home. So today I'm driving up to work. I haven't got anything else I have to do, so I'm kind of taking it easy. Just, you know, it's slow. I'm not in a rush. But tomorrow I want to go to work and I want to come home, and I don't really want to waste any time because I'd rather just get straight home and beat the traffic if I can. So I'm trying to think ahead as to how to plan this out. And, you know, like, don't let me overcomplicate this, but these are just some tips that I wanted to show you to try and think about how you might plan this. So this is the screen at the moment, and I am on 48% battery. So this is the display. It says that I'm going to reach, I've set it to 80% at 15:08. So that's in 30 minutes. So here on the screen you can see that I have got 16% on arrival, and it's 67 miles. Now, if I think about it this way, right, if I was to go up to where I need to be and then to come back tomorrow, I'm going to need to drive 67 miles. So I'm probably going to want to have 35% battery on arrival at the Hilton at East Midlands Airport. So 35%, you times that by 2, that's 70, and that's going to be able to get me back. So basically what I could do is I could just stay here until that percentage number said 35, and then I know that I can get there and I can come back, and I don't even need to think about charging while I'm there. This particular hotel doesn't have a charger, so I can't charge there, and I'm not sure if I can be bothered to go and find a different charger because I'm sat here at a perfectly working charger at the moment. So if I wait till I'm at 50%, 48%, and 80%, well, that's 30% more. And so 30% plus that is going to be 47%. So I don't even need to wait to 80%. I could probably go 30%. So add 20% onto that and I'll be all good. So if I then set this to 70%, I can do that here. And I can go charge display, 70%. I'm now going to get a completion time. Once it updates, it can be a bit slow. So it still says 15:10. And come on. Okay. We'll come back to that in a second. So I'm going to set that to 70% and then go back here. 70% I'm going to use, so if I'm at 50% now, right, I'm going to use 33% to get there. So 70% minus 33 is going to leave me, I can't even do that in my head, 37%. Times that by 2, that's 74 miles. So perfect. If I stop at 70% and then I leave here, I will be absolutely fine to get there and come back here. And then I don't even have to think about charging. So that's nice and simple. However, let's look at ZapMap, right? This is on my phone, so I hope you can see the screen okay. And if I hit add new route plan, I'm going to put starting location to be my location now. Oh, come on. And the destination. So let's put, there we go. East Midlands Airport's close enough. And I'm going to show the, in fact, I'm going to do it the other way. Let's do this. Let's put East Midlands Airport, and then the destination is my location now. And then I'm just going to say next step. And then I'm going to just go to the next page and then select this route and see what comes up with. So now it will show me all the charges en route coming back. So the point I'm trying to make here is that if I've charged up to have enough power to get there and back, then tomorrow I can finish work and just drive straight back to where I am now and know that I've got loads of charges. I don't even have to worry about it. But if I did want to stop on the way back, then I have quite a lot of en route options. That one, for example, is a Holiday Inn. These are probably motorway services. That's Ecotricity. And in the classic Ecotricity style, none of this works, so I wouldn't even attempt that. But my point is, if I did stop and one did work, I could plug in and charge. What have we got here? Another dead Ecotricity. Maybe you could try. No. Oh my goodness, they are shocking, aren't they? So this is what I wanted to just show you. You can do some forward planning and then just know that you can come back here to Milton Keynes and have many chargers to choose from. There's another Ecotricity that doesn't work. Oh, it's really bad, isn't it? Okay, that one works, so that could be an option. But yeah, so plenty of chargers en route using ZapMap that would be an option. But if I wait till I'm at 70%, then I can come back here and not have to worry about it at all.
Pull you into the water till we come out clean. Things left in the dark are not what they seem. Hush, now the dawn is listening. Pull you into the water till we come out clean.
So I had a bit of spare time before I go to the hotel, and I thought I would stop and have a look at the power station that's located next to East Midlands Parkway train station. If you look on Google Maps, look up East Midlands Parkway train station. Right next to it, there's a massive power station. You can click on it and find out a bit more information on this this coal-fired power station that apparently still operates. It's a backup, I believe, a backup power station for when there is no other power available, especially during the winter when perhaps solar and wind, well, wind can be high, but that's from what I understand. It's not always operational, but it is functional. What's interesting is it's also a backup site, well, not a backup site, but I think a site for consideration for a future nuclear program, which is kind of interesting. But it is certainly an impressive engineering achievement. You can see it quite clearly if you fly into East Midlands Airport, especially landing on the I think it's the Wesley runway if you look out the right hand side. But yeah, I thought I would drive by and take a couple of pictures and have a look, and the train station's right next to it. If I turn the camera around now, or if in fact I just move it so you can see out the window, let me turn it round actually, so that's where you can see, and it is pretty impressive. Take a look at some of the other shots as well. That's through the roof. It is a big power station. Okay, so I have arrived, and that was 2 hours and 59 minutes in total of driving. Well, I'm not sure it was exactly, because the problem is when you're stopped, the Polestar will continue to often count up. So there may have been times where I was charging. I'm not really sure what I was doing, if I was sat ever with the clock still running, but 165.6 miles of driving. And the really exciting thing is, I've not seen this before, 29.8 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. That is by far the best consumption I've seen. And what's really interesting is that the temperature is 10 degrees. It's not that warm. I don't actually know what the optimum working temperature is of electric cars or batteries, or in fact the Polestar battery, because every car is different. I suspect as you get warmer, obviously very warm is not going to be good either. You'll be running things like air conditioning, so that's not efficient. So 10 degrees though, I wouldn't say that's the most efficient either. I left it about 8. But the interesting thing is, if you use 29.7 kilowatt hours per 100 miles and you do 75 kilowatt hours battery, then you get a total range of 252 miles, which is really good. And I'm very pleased about that. Some of the things that would have helped the consumption on the drive will be the construction. So the M1, I mean, this is classic in the UK motorways. There are times where you can drive at 70 miles an hour with no problems, but there are also times where you just can't. They have average speed checks. So there's a big 60 mile an hour stretch. There wasn't a lot of traffic, but there was a 60 mile an hour stretch. So my trip manual says an average speed of 57 miles per hour. Whether or not that's actually accurate, I don't know, because if you look at 165 miles, divide that by 165, divide that by 3, yeah, it's 55 miles. That is correct. Now the problem is it takes into account the time stopped. So my point is I don't know exactly how long I was actually driving the car for. So the average miles per hour is probably a little higher than that. But yeah, your consumption isn't going to be this good if you're doing 75 miles an hour constantly on the road. In terms of wind direction today, I don't think that really was much of a factor because the wind it's kind of westerly at 6 to 8 miles an hour, very little, and this is kind of a straight to the north route, so no tailwind. So my point here is that the range improvements that Polestar have put into place from the last software update really are quite good, and the warmer weather is giving me much better consumption figures. I'm not sure how everyone else is finding it, but I'm actually really pleased with this because I've arrived here with 45% battery. I was expecting to get here with 35%, and that's actually a lot better than I anticipated. Now if I have a quick look at the maps, if I put back the, let's see if it's still there. Where was I? There we go. Charge Master, Milton Keynes. So it's saying I'll get there with 14%, so I can easily go back to where I charged and probably arrive with 15%. So that's no problem at all. And that's really comforting to know because it means I don't have to worry about any of those questionable ecotricity charges on the way back tomorrow. So yeah, really happy with the range actually of the car so far. It's really good news, and it just makes life a lot easier if you get a bit more range from it. So it's really promising. That's it really for this part. I'm going to be here tonight, and then I'll head back tomorrow. And my plan tomorrow will be to try and get back much quicker. Today I wasted so much time. I mean, I had lunch. I wasn't in a rush. But tomorrow I'm going to try and do this much quicker, and I'll see how much time I actually spend having to stop and charge on the basis of leaving here tomorrow with about 40%. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll be back again with the next video and part 2 very soon.